This exhibition is displayed these days in London, in Greenwich, and at the same time, simultaneously, here in London and here in Haifa. Our special guest this evening is Mr. Paddy Rogers, Director, Chief Executive of the Royal Greenwich Museums, in Hebrew Hamankal. Good evening, Paddy.
Good evening, Yotam. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon in London, I guess.
Yes, late afternoon. It's absolutely lovely here. Sun's out. Feels wonderful.
How are you? And I hope you can see the pictures
I can.
that give you the feeling of what we did. It's in the hall behind us, all visitors here, city council members, board directors of ours, management of Haifa museums, and other distinguished guests. All of us will be able to see it, but for you, we designed these special pictures so you can see. The floor is yours. You're welcome to say us a few words.
Well, Yotam, first of all, I must say you look like you've done a really wonderful job, because the images I'm seeing are really very impressive, and I'm sure you and your guests are going to have a wonderful evening, and I hope you're going to have a very successful showing there in Haifa. So you're looking at Astronomy Photographer of the Year, and we're in our 14th year now of organizing this prize. So the photography is taken from anybody who wants to apply, and typically now we get about 30,000 entrants from 65 or so countries, and we like to say that it's the best astronomy photography competition in the world, and sometimes we dare to say it's the best in the universe. But the images you see, of course, are from near-Earth objects and also from very dim and distant space, and they are brought together very beautifully. And really, what can I say about it? First of all, maybe I should give you a little bit of background. The Royal Museums Greenwich includes the Royal Observatory Greenwich, and the Royal Observatory Greenwich was first built and started looking at celestial objects in 1675, so nearly 350 years ago it started here. The building on the top of the hill in Greenwich from which observations was made is called Flamsteed House, after the first astronomer royal, and it was built by Christopher Wren, who was the architect, of course, of St Paul's and of the Old Royal Naval College. The reason for wanting to do celestial observation at the end of the 17th century was not just the beauty and the wonder and the awe that comes from looking with the new telescopes into the night sky, but also for the practical trading reason of wanting to be able to find a reliable means for the discovery of longitude, so that people could calculate where they were when they were at sea and out of sight of land. Of course, this resulted in eventually forming a prime, or making a prime meridian at Greenwich, which leads to Greenwich Mean Time, where so many of you will have heard of us when you first heard of us. But let me move on a little bit to talk to you about what it means to look at the night sky or to see visions of space. I always like to think of Willem Anders, the astronaut who was on Apollo 8. He was the first person to Apollo 8, you will remember, went behind the moon. It went to the dark side of the moon for the first time, and he was the first human being to see Earth rise from behind the moon. It was the first time a human being had seen the Earthrise moment and to look down on the planet that we share together. His comment at the time was that we went to the moon to discover the Earth. And at this moment, not only do we look out at the night sky, but it also gives us a moment to think back about the Earth, about the beautiful Goldilocks planet that we live on together. I call it Goldilocks because, like the fairy tale, it's not too hot and it's not too cold. It's perfect for human life. And it's possibly the only planet we can see or think of that's like that. And we must learn to cherish it and live well together on the planet. And looking out at the night sky and seeing it in the beauty and wonder that you'll see from these photographs, I believe, honestly, it gives us a moment of awe, a moment of wonder. It can give us some consolation, some sense of our place in the great universe. but also it can give us a sense of transcendence, a moment when we step out from our individual and daily worries and share our common humanity and empathy with others. So I think it's a great prize for its beauty, it's a great competition for its wonder, but more than anything else, it might help us and open a door to make us think about what it means to be a human being on Earth in the 21st century.
Thank you so much, Paddy. This is...
But Yoltan, let me hand that.
And I won't let you go. We do not see you, but we can clearly hear you. Allow me to, let's try to fix it, but anyway, allow me to share with the audience how it all started. This exhibition is a direct result of my visit to London in November. I had, Paddy, the chutzpah. Are you familiar with the Hebrew word of chutzpah?
Yes.
You are?
Yes, indeed.
So I had the chutzpah to write you an email, and you immediately picked up the glove and we set up the appointment. After all, we are both Director Generals of museums. Both of us are responsible for a cluster of several museums, and we are sharing about the same budget. Is that correct? No, actually I'm joking. Our budget is much higher than yours. But we had a wonderful meeting, and after all, it's all about chemistry between people, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.